So let's go ahead and get into the race. William Byron wins the Daytona 500. Hendrick's 40th season to the day. People saying NASCAR is scripted now.
Something like that.
Yeah. So he, I really don't know if he did a whole lot to maintain the lead. He just kind of let everybody else fuck up behind him, I'll say. Ross trying to make a move at the end, coming to the white. Austin and Corey down at the bottom getting kind of squirrely with each other, come back on the track because I think Austin kind of went down on the apron for a second, came back up, and Corey was continuing to push him. And Ross trying to go underneath Byron and kind of clipped Austin, clipped Ross, and they went spinning through the infield. Caution came out, and it was, probably half a second or second too early for Alex Bowman and Alex Bowman fans because he wins the 500 if they throw the caution any later than what they did. So it's a Hendrick 1-2. And I think throughout the race, other than stage one, when all the guys up front were saving fuel and you had a single car of A.J. Allmendinger being faster than the whole pack, that was embarrassing. I was not a fan of that. But that's what it is on these super speedway races now, with everything being strategy based, everybody trying to spend the least amount of time possible on pit road as you can. That allows you to keep or gain track position for later on in the race. So it's part of it. I just hate how it is. But other than that, I thought it was a great race. I don't think we had any training all day, which was nice to see. 2x2. It's hard to move around, but you could if you had a good enough car. You had Kyle Busch come from the back to the front multiple times. You had Joey Logano come from the back to the front multiple times. So you could make moves and make it back up to the front. It's just kind of you had to be you had to be a very good plate racer, and you had to have a very good car as well. So, but overall, even with the ending the way it was, I'd still give it a 75% on the groovy gauge.
Yeah.
For Eric Eastep. I think he rated his like 85 or something. But 75%, it was very solid for the Daytona 500. Could have been better. If the finish actually finishes under green and we get a side-by-side race to the checkers between William Byron and Ross Chastain or Austin Cindric or something, it probably goes up to 80, 85. So just kind of how it is. The finish kind of hurts it, but solid race, 75, 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I thought it was a great race. Like you said, it wasn't easy to pass, but you could make moves if you were, good. That third line got going quite a bit, and it seemed like if it had a fast car, with a couple of cars passing, or a couple of cars behind him, that top lane was really good, especially if that middle lane wasn't really doing well at side draft, and that top lane would get huge runs, and would most of the time break up the bottom, which was weird. I don't think I've ever seen that happen quite that way. So that was interesting to watch. I thought they were aggressive, but not stupid for most of the race. And that's what you need to see at these plate tracks. And I thought it was the best plate race that this car has put on since the Gen 7's been here. This is now the third Daytona 500 for this car, third year of it, and I think it keeps getting better on these super speedways every year. So that's good to see. The problem is, mistake happens on lap 6, kind of puts a damper on the beginning of the race.
Thanks, Brad.
Wasn't his fault, but and then big wreck with 8 to go kind of ruined the race for me because both of my guys were in it, and the guy I picked to win it might as well have been in it. So it kind of ruined the race for me. The last 8 laps, 7 laps, whatever it was that they go green, white, checkered, 4 laps, 6, whatever it was that they went back green with. I think it was a green, white, checkered.
No, it wasn't. It was 4 to go.
4 to go.
I think so.
whatever it was.
It was 5 3/4. Like they started out there in turn 2.
None of my guys had a chance to win, so it kind of was bullshit. And then the end of the race, I mean, it just ended so anticlimactically that it was just kind of dumb. So if you take out the first 10 and the last 10 laps, I think it was a 90. That middle 180 laps was great. But like I said, the start and the finish sucked. So it wasn't great. So I give it a 70 overall. It is what it is. It was a decent enough race. Just wished the ending was better and that my guys would at least had a shot. I know you mentioned Chase having a shot at the end. It's much better to have a shot and fail than not be there at all. So wish at least one of them was up there at the end.
Yes, it is better than being up there at the end, but if you're 14th, is what it is. It's better than wrecking, I guess. But if you're second, if you're Alex Bowman fan, you're pissed. I think it's worse.
You're pissed either way if you don't win.
But I'm saying it's easier to.
There's only one guy going home
to deal
happy.
with if you finish 14th and didn't have a chance to win the race at the end because you made a mistake.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, next week you'll be more happy you finished second.
He won a stage too for Chase. Chase and Blaney won stages. Chase wins stage 1, and Blaney won stage 2 with a nice move on his teammate Austin Cindric on the last lap to get up underneath him and beat him to the line. And are you surprised that we'll get into it a little bit later, but the manufacturer support was there, but it really wasn't as much as we've seen in previous 500s, especially in previous years.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is that there wasn't really domination by one. Mm-hmm. Usually, I mean, it's been the Fords for the past 10 years at these tracks that kind of dominate. So they all run together because they're all faster than the Toyotas and the Chevrolets. I think with this new Ford, they've lost their edge. So the field's more jumbled up because the Fords aren't leading the pack anymore, and there's more Toyotas now. So I feel like it was just the pack's more jumbled up, and it's more difficult to kind of find your friends in a situation like that. So I think they planned to do it. It was just more difficult to execute this year than it had been in years past.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of a fresh air because we've seen for years now the manufacturers just stick together, and that's kind of the whole race. This race you kind of had individuality come out. You had a Chevy pushing a Toyota. You had Toyotas pushing Fords. You had Chevys pushing Fords. I mean, it was nice to see, and I think that's me personally, that's how I like my super speedways more than this new age. Just all work together, manufacturer support, and all that stuff. I think it's more natural of a race. And I think that's why the race, like you said, for the middle 180 laps was so good because yes, you had teamwork and you had people, you had manufacturers working together a little bit, but it wasn't as clear as it has been in years past. So I think it was just, hey, whoever's in front of me, we're going to the front. We're going to try to go to the front. I don't care who you are. And track position is so key. We're going to we're not going to wait for our teammate or anything like that. We're going to try to just get all we can get right now. So I like that. And I think that made the race overall a better experience. Even though, like you said, the beginning and the end kind of sucked. But William Byron locked himself in the playoffs. I mean, everybody had him make the playoffs. We're 1-for-1 on our playoffs drivers. 1-for-1, check.